Welcome back to Bat Fridays here on One Comic Book a Day, where we're covering Detective Comics issue 77, The Crime Clinic, with the seldom used and lesser known Batman rogue known as the Crime Doctor, though I don't think he's ever actually referred to as the Crime Doctor in the story. Not a particularly great name. His real name is Dr. Matthew Thorne, and that's what he goes by, like Dr. Thorne, which is an okay name for a villain in, say, like a action movie, a generic action movie. But for like a supervillain, not great. Like Doctor Death would work better, but we already have the Doctor Death. And there's been more than one Crime Doctor over the years in the DC universe. Essentially, the Crime Doctor's first appearance is mostly just the gimmick of a doctor being into crime, which you would think would be not as interesting as it turns out to be. I actually have a lot of fun with this comic. I enjoy the Crime Doctor. All his weird doctor theming when it comes to crimes. Essentially, if you have an idea of a crime, but you don't know how to completely make it manifest or there's problems with the idea, you go see the Crime Doctor. He's more of like a consultant, kind of like how Moriarty was portrayed in the Sherlock series. Although Moriarty, even when he was a professor, was never a medical doctor. He will diagnose the problem with your crime and write you a prescription, literally on a prescription pad, for what you need to do. Eventually, he gets involved in the crimes, and Batman gets in his way, and he generally suffers from the usual problem a lot of villains seem to suffer in the Golden Age, not thinking about the superhero in town. For a guy who's supposed to be so smart that he plans out crimes and can see the problems in crimes, he doesn't seem to have anything prepared for Batman or Robin. That's literally the first thing that should have been on his list to solve. The wonderful thing about Batman is it spends time on its action sequences, which makes it a little less boring than the Superman version, where he kind of just ends it that quickly. But also, there is a structure to it and sometimes an escalation. So you have like an establishing action sequence where he's going to get away. You have an action sequence that essentially is the midpoint where it explains everything he's going to be up to. The climactic fight here kind of comes out of nowhere, but I do really like their meeting. Not only do we get some doctor-themed attacks on him, but also he has stuff like crime charts. Dr. Thorne really went into this gimmick. I respect that. I'm having fun with that. It's so surprising how much just doctor but crime is working. Maybe they should do it with a lawyer. I guess Two-Face technically is that, but he never really practiced law when he commits crimes. Note to self, let's do that. When confronted, he eventually ends an action sequence because someone comes in and needs an emergency appendectomy. And it does seem like it's going to the direction of, like, you're a great doctor. Why are you doing this? Which would have been terrible because that's not well built up. But no, he's like, I like crime. I'm into crime. I love crime. And I think he's right. We should all do some crime. It sounds awesome. Let's get addicted like he is. We should all try some light extortion. Oh, wait. I get in trouble for actually saying that. Don't listen to my advice. I'm really stupid. The final fight happens at this sort of Philosopher's Stone where they figured out how to turn matter into different matter. See the whole point of the Philosopher's Stone? You can turn anything into gold, which I wouldn't say is grander, but the depiction of it is a little better with this weird giant device. With Thorne having a bit of an arc where he has been a character who doesn't want to kill because he's a doctor. Makes some sense. But it doesn't take a lot for him to turn on that. Like, all Batman had to do was annoy him more than twice for him to be like, you know what, I'm going to kill you. And Batman defeats him. It actually almost sets up one of those endings where he's going to fall seemingly to his death, but Batman jumps in after him and pulls him out. So, hey, Batman doesn't allow him to die. Oh, and one other weird problem with this comic is in that middle fight, like usual, Batman gets captured. This is kind of classic screenplay storytelling. You want, going into the final act, there to be sort of the low point, and usually the low point here in Batman stories is him being captured. Then he finds some clever way out. Here, using ether to explode, apparently, the laboratory, so he can heat up his rubber bonds to break them. The problem is they don't show the explosion. He just mentions it, and we see him break his bonds. There's not even a fire happening in the drawing where the explosion has supposedly happened. I'm just saying, if you're going to tease an explosion, something that is very exciting to see, you depict the explosion. But I am legitimately excited to see Dr. Thorne back. I can't believe I find the Crime Doctor riveting. That is it from Detective Comics issue 77, The Crime Clinic. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday. But Mondays and Thursdays, I cover Superman in either Superboy, Adventure Comics, Action Comics, or Superman. And please join me next time, same bat day, same comic book channel. Have a great day.